After a brief hiatus, Boruto is finally back with chapter 72. We have just entered into a brand new era for the series. Some characters have lost abilities, while others have only grown in strength. Alliances have shifted drastically, and no one knows what happens next. We've got a lot to cover in this chapter, so let's jump right into it. We begin with a meeting between Shikamaru, Naruto, and Kawaki to discuss Amado's secret projects and his capture. Kawaki reassures Shikamaru that he had no idea that Amado had restored his karma before fighting Code. Shikamaru suspects that Amado did not do this out of the kindness of his heart, but for some ulterior motive that hasn't been revealed yet. Kawaki interrupts by saying that they don't have to worry about Amado's plans anymore because Code likely killed him after he was captured. As always, Kawaki is cold-blooded. Naruto tells Kawaki that he shouldn't be so negative, but Kawaki insists that Shikamaru is actually happy that Amado is dead since it means that he won't have to work with someone so shady. It doesn't help things that Amado threatened to kill his son when they first met. This angers Shikamaru, forcing Naruto to intervene. Kawaki calls the Hokage's aid both worthless and upset. At that moment, a Jonin interrupts the meeting to let Shikamaru know that there is a phone call for him from Amado. From a train station outside the Land of Snow, Amado is calling with Ada and Daemon nearby. Amado lets Shikamaru know that he's hurt, but still breathing, and it'll take around 4 days for him to make it back to the village. Shikamaru asks what happened with Code and warns him about his claw marks that he used for teleportation. Amado tells him that he's already checked for the marks and that he already has some good news about Code. He informs Shikamaru that Code has lost his alliance with Ada, his greatest ally, thanks to Amado's negotiation skills. Ada now plans on accepting Shikamaru's offer to join Konoha, and as such, two of the most powerful characters in the series could soon become allies to Konoha. Shikamaru inquires about Code's other partner, Daemon. The level of power that Shikamaru saw from the child shocked him to his core, and now he's extremely concerned about someone like him coming to the village. Amado explains that Daemon is Ada's little brother, and that he'll be coming to the village with his sister. Shikamaru points out that Amado had no right to make deals like this on Konoha's behalf. Amado counters by saying that Shikamaru didn't have the right either. In the end, it doesn't matter much because it all comes down to what Ada wants. Everyone else doesn't have a choice but to comply with her wishes. Amado warns Shikamaru that no matter what, he doesn't want the siblings as his enemies. The last piece of information that Amado gives Shikamaru is that Code's limiters have been released. This surprises Shikamaru, but Amado soothes the bad news over. Even though Code is much stronger, he doesn't have Ada or Daemon at his side anymore, which has made him much less of a threat. With the siblings joining Konoha, they'll have no problem taking Code out. Amado finishes by telling Shikamaru that it's up to him to effectively use the pieces in his arsenal. Shikamaru is going to have to come up with his greatest master plan yet. The call ends with Shikamaru telling Amado to hurry back so he can answer more of his questions. After the call is over, Ada threatens Amado by telling him that if things go poorly between her and Kawaki, she will kill the old man. She reminds him that she still holds a grudge against him for giving her these enchanting powers, and that his connection to Kawaki is the only reason why he is alive. Amado has to be careful around Ada and Daemon. They could easily become double-edged swords. Back at the village, Shikamaru puts out a call to summon Naruto, Kawaki, and Team 7 to the Hokage's office. But before we continue with the recap, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to never miss an upload, and smash that like button for some plot armor today. We now move to the Uzumaki household. Boruto gets ready to head out, but pauses when he notices his new karma mark, reminding him of his brush with death. The experience has definitely shaken Boruto. Just as he is about to head out, Hinata stops him and asks if he's going on a new mission. Boruto tells her yes and explains that the rest of his team has been on hiatus because of his karma, so they are all excited for a new mission. Hinata reveals that she does her best to smile when Boruto leaves for a mission, but she can't help but think that this will be the time he won't come back. It's difficult for Hinata to see her son constantly put his life in danger. From behind, Himawari appears and watches the conversation. Boruto apologizes for worrying her, but the mission seems to be something only his team is capable of doing, so he has to go. He does his best to comfort her by telling her that he's already come back from death once. As he leaves, Boruto promises to come back home no matter what. Right as Boruto walks out the door, time freezes and Momoshiki's spirit appears nearby. Momoshiki tells Boruto that it was irresponsible of him to promise that he'll come back home. Boruto reminds the Otsutsuki that he can't resurrect through his body anymore and asks him why he's still around. Instead of answering, Momoshiki asks Boruto why he still clings to life even though he knows that his future will be filled with despair. Once again, Momoshiki tells Boruto that he will lose everything close to him and that the moment is coming very soon. And that when that moment happens, Boruto will lose his will to live and want to escape life. Momoshiki finally reveals his new plans for Boruto's body. When the day comes that Boruto loses his will to live, Momoshiki intends to take over and live Boruto's life for him. Boruto will be confined to a corner of his psyche for all eternity. Momoshiki doesn't care about resurrecting with the karma anymore since Boruto is fully an Otsutsuki now. Controlling Boruto's body is just as good as resurrecting through it, and so Boruto still isn't free of Momoshiki's plots and manipulations. Major trouble is just around the corner for Boruto. According to Momoshiki, it doesn't matter how the original plan changes, Boruto has always been destined to be his vessel. Boruto fights back against this prophecy that he will never give himself over to Momoshiki even if it means dying. Momoshiki promises to never let Boruto die again since he is his vessel. In a desperate moment of rage, Boruto swears to never let Momoshiki emerge again. As Momoshiki fades away, he leaves with a smile. He's confident that Boruto's fate is already sealed and he is looking forward to it. Momoshiki disappears, leaving Boruto yelling in the air. At that moment, Sarada and Mitsuki show up. As his teammates greet him, Boruto ignores them and shouts at the top of his lungs that he will be the one to decide his fate. Sarada is bewildered by Boruto's strange behavior, and Mitsuki remarks that no matter what happens, Boruto will always be Boruto. Whatever is over the horizon, hopefully Team 7 will be together to see each other through. Back at the Uzumaki household, Himawari approaches Hinata and tells her that she's been thinking about becoming a ninja so that she can help her brother. Himawari questions if her being a ninja would worry Hinata even more. We don't get to see Hinata's answer, but she looks concerned. It makes sense that Hinata would be worried. Half of her family has been in life-threatening danger over the last few days. But hey, this could be the beginning of Himawari's career as a ninja. Another Byakugan user could be joining Konoha's fighting force. And as we know from Naruto's Hokage inauguration, or lack thereof, Himawari is nothing to play with. Within Jigen's dimension, Code emerges from his claw marks and brings Bug along with him. Bug asks where Code has brought him. Code explains that they are in a pocket dimension that can only be reached with space-time ninjutsu. Because he left claw marks here when Jigen brought him, Code can enter the dimension whenever he wants. Code goes to check on the Ten-Tails and reveals to Bug that Sasuke can no longer enter the dimension now that his Rinnegan is gone, but Boruto and Kawaki could if they ever master their space-time ninjutsu. At the moment, Boruto, Kawaki, and Code are the only people in the world who could access this place. Jigen's dimension is no longer a safe place to store the Ten-Tails. Bug asks Code what his plan is now that he's by himself. Even though his limiters were removed, Code was still easily beaten by Daemon, and his alliance with Ada fell apart fast. Code admits that Daemon outclasses him in strength and that he's on a whole other level than him. Bug points out that he did try to stop him from waking him. Code counters by reminding Bug that he's still upset over Ada breaking his heart, so Bug should be nicer to him. This is just another reminder that Code isn't done with Ada yet. Bug wonders how Code could be so unbothered when so many things have gone against him recently. Code reveals that the situation is actually going fine for him, shocking Bug. Code then tells his companion that he needs to adjust the Ten-Tail's size into something more manageable. Code creates claw marks across the Ten-Tail's face, sending the beast into a frenzy. The claw marks begin to rapidly expand across the Ten-Tail's body, constricting it. Nonchalantly, Code explains the situation to Bug. His claw marks are made from iron in his blood mixed with his own chakra. Before his limiters were taken off, there used to be a limit to how many marks he could make at one time. Now that his full power has been unlocked, he can create more than enough marks to completely cover a gigantic creature like the Ten-Tails. As the marks grow and wrap around the Ten-Tails, they begin to change, forming large spikes. Bug notices that the Ten-Tails is shrinking. Code knows that a tailed beast is just a massive lump of chakra, and that he can split that chakra up and mold it into a new form like clay. What Code is doing is actually pretty similar to how the Sage of Six Paths split the original Ten-Tails up into the 9-tailed beasts. The spikes on Code's marks start to fall off and move across the floor. Eventually, these spikes start changing shape, creating these humanoid creatures with tails covered in Code's claw marks. Bug mentions how disturbing these new creatures are as one of them suddenly dashes forward. The creature jumps through the chest of another one and travels to the claw marks behind Bug and Code. Bug realizes that these horrific monsters can travel through claw marks just like Code. At the end of the chapter, Code teleports his eye onto the creature and remarks that the Ten-Tails is now much smaller and more useful now. Boruto's greatest enemy now has an army of miniature tailed beasts at his disposal, all with the same powers as him. Code has definitely shifted the balance of power in his favor. These are definitely some major revelations here and some major dangers for Konoha, so please let us know what you think the village is going to do against this threat. As always, I'm Slice Botaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.